All right, folks, welcome back, and it's always great to welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show Ken Blackwell, former Secretary of State for the great state of Ohio and senior fellow at the Family Research Council. Hello, Ken.
Hey, Steve, good to be with you. Happy New Year.
Now, that's probably where I'm going to draw. That's the last Happy New Year greeting that I will accept, and I will not give anymore because it's now January 27th. So that's about it.
All right.
Okay.
My cutoff point is February 1.
Well, anyway, Happy New Year back to you. So, great piece in Town Hall that I read, the fight for principle in the GOP. Before we get to that, let me ask you. Rand Paul was out there over the weekend and bringing up, responding to this cockamamie distortion of what Mike Huckabee said, and what and I think the absolutely right-on way Mike Huckabee described what the Democrats think of women, and he also brought up Bill Clinton and how could any party accuse the other party of waging a war on women when Bill Clinton did what he did, and he just said Monica Lewinsky. We could go down the list of Juanita Broderick, of Kathleen Willey, of Paula Jones. I mean, these are accusations, but still, how did the Democrats reconcile, do you think, worshiping Bill Clinton, but the evil Republicans don't like women?
Well, they can't reconcile it, and at the end of the day, the attack on Mike Huckabee is an attempt to turn the page. Struggling middle-class families continue to express their frustration about how increasing costs like gas and food and utilities, education, and health care usurp a higher and higher percentage of their take-home pay each month. People want economic growth, and that's men and women. And Mike Huckabee had it right. I mean, they distorted, they abbreviated his comments. They edited to say what they wanted to attack. But in the final analysis, GOP governors who are heading up 30 of these 30 states across the country, understand what American families want. And what people tend to forget is that the GOP is not a white male-only club. It is made up of blacks, whites, women, male, and in the final analysis, we are not a minority party. We are not out of sync with the American people. Republicans control more general assemblies, more chambers of general assemblies.
Right, more state houses, more governorships, the House. I mean,
we got to stop thinking that we are a minority party in this country.
I know of course the media would have you think that we're, and by the way, they throw this term around with glee. It's now accepted as a derogatory that we're a party of old white men. Imagine if I said that, and I'm not, but imagine if I said the Democratic Party was a party of young black people.
Right.
I mean, they throw me off the air.
It is pure lunacy. But today, Steve, Americans are struggling to revive and maintain a country in which the individual, not the state, is sovereign. Because more and more Americans are embracing the fact, the historical fact that American exceptionalism is rooted in a set of core values reflected in our Declaration of Independence and the core principles enshrined in our Constitution. And they are seeing firsthand that we have a president that wants to transform our market economy into a government-controlled economy, our family-centered society into a government-centered society, but most importantly, we have a president and an administration and a Democratic Party that wants to transform our national philosophy founded upon the primacy of the individual and the supremacy of God to one founded upon the primacy of the collective good and the supremacy of the central or federal government.
Well, Ken, you're so right in your the point you drive home in your piece, and it's very important to have this philosophy. I believe that Republicans have nothing to apologize for in their strong beliefs, whether it comes to economics or whether it comes to social values or family values or educational values or whatever. They shouldn't run away from them. But you specifically also say in there that they should take these values and these, into the minority communities. Why? I remember when Michael Steele was elected, and one of the first interviews he did was on my radio show back then on WOR, and he promised he would do that. None of this has been done. But on the other hand, playing devil's advocate, I mean, it's not easy to do, because if someone like you went in, a black man, a conservative, went into a minority community, I mean, there's a chance you'd meet with great resistance from people calling you all kinds of names. And if a white politician, Republican, went in, there's a good chance that they wouldn't want to hear him either. So how do you go into these neighborhoods and get the message across?
You have to go in and you have to place the order. Look, I've been a mayor of a major city, Cincinnati, Ohio. I've been a statewide elected official, treasurer of the state, Secretary of State of Ohio. And when I initially started to run statewide, I got about a fourth of the African American vote. And that was basically because folks knew that I didn't only talk the talk, I walked the walk in terms of creating economic growth, job creation. I believed and was a strong advocate in school choice and making sure that folks had a way out of dysfunctional school systems. And I started to build on that base. At one point, I got about 50% of the African-American vote as a very, very conservative Republican, because people tend to be results-oriented, and that's what's catching up with this president. He is not produced. He is rhetorical, but he is not producing in terms of jobs and opportunity. And this joke that he's floated out there, his promise zones, you know, is nothing more than a big government hat trick. I mean, I walk the ghettos and barrios and neighborhoods of minority and majority communities with Jack Kemp. We know that it can be done, but you have to place the order.
Right. Well, listen, Ken, a great piece. I urge everyone to check it out, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you very much, Ken.
Good to be with you, Steve.
Take care. Ken Blackwell, former Secretary of State for Ohio, former mayor of Cincinnati, senior fellow at the Family Research Council. Check out his piece, The Fight for Principle in the GOP, at townhall.com. All right, folks, we are coming back. Pat Buchanan will join us. Is this a lineup or is this a lineup? If the Yankees had this lineup last year, they'd be the world champions. On the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.